Hey, Right Riders, Keith Wheeler here, back with another video for you. In last week's video, I mentioned that one of the big mistakes that I made early on in my career was spreading myself over too many niches or genres. Well, that really resonated with many of you because I got inundated with emails and comments telling me that people were in the same boat as I was and asking me, how do I pick a genre or niche? So in today's video, I'm going to show you the super simple method that I use to choose what niche or genre I'm going to start self-publishing it. So if you're excited for that, make sure that you hit that thumbs up button and let's get started. So this is the Excel spreadsheet that I use to figure out what niche or genre I'm going to write in. You know, I have so many different niches and genres that I write in over the years. And what ends up happening is I get pulled into so many different directions that I end up with multiple books in different stages of completion. And so in order for me to stay organized and stay focused, I use this spreadsheet to help me decide where my focus should be at. And I strongly suggest using something similar to this for you if you're just starting out, you know, because one of the biggest things is you need to focus on one area, at most two, so that way you can better your chances of success. And the best way I've found to do that is to focus again on just one or two areas and get that niche down, get the audience to where you understand them, you're familiar with them, they understand you, they like your content. And so you have that relationship with your customers, and you know they start buying books from you on a regular basis. And then once you're seeing success in one area, then you can reach out and go to the next one. And this may change for you. So your niches as we go, you know, it may change month to month, year to year. My biggest suggestion is, if you're just starting out, is I would say for 1 year, find a niche or genre or whatever, and focus just on that until you get that down pat, until you understand the customers and they understand you, and you get that relationship. You have a much better chance of selling books and seeing self-publishing success if you just focus on one area at a time. And this, again, is the spreadsheet that I use to figure that out. So I just put some examples in here of some of the different niches that I'm in, some of the different types of books that I create. And so I've got puzzle books, picture books, middle grade books, young adult novels, low content books. And maybe for you, it's not different types of books, not different genres, but it might be different niches. So, you know, maybe one of your niches, you know, if you do all, you know, no content, low content books, and one of your niches might be golf, and then your other niche might be cats, whatever. Okay, it doesn't matter. It still works the same. And then really what you do is it comes down to a few areas. It comes down to what interests you. You know, what do you have the biggest interest in creating? You know, because if it's something that you're not interested in, there's a much less frequency that you're going to actually be successful in it, because of some of the other aspects that are in here. Namely, you're not going to be consistent if it's something that you don't enjoy. So the first thing is going to be our interest. So you're literally just going to rank them. So however many you have, right here I have 7. And so I might say puzzle books, and then picture books, and then maybe cats, and then low content books. Okay, so maybe that's the order. All right. And then next is, can you be consistent? And that's simple. A 1 if it's a yes, a 9 if it's a no. Because what we're going to do later is we're going to get a score over here at the far right-hand side. And that score is it's basically just a sum of everything else. And if you can't be consistent in an area, that is going to be lower on the list of what you should focus on. Because again, with Amazon, it all comes down to relevancy and consistency. And so if you can't be consistent, then your customers are not going to be able to rely on you to get your book done, your next book done in a reasonable amount of time. And so they're just going to move on to the next author or the next creator. Puzzle books, I'm going to say, yes, I can be consistent with all of these. Okay. All right. Next up is frequency. How frequently can I create a new book and publish it in this particular niche or this particular genre? So puzzle books, it's a 1 for weekly, 2 for monthly, 3 for quarterly, 4 for twice a year, 5 for yearly, and 6 for longer than that. So if it's longer than a year, like maybe my young adult novel might take more than a year to write, then maybe I would put a 6 for that, which isn't the case. But puzzle books I can absolutely do weekly. Low content books I can do weekly. So again, maybe cats and golf I can do monthly. So we'll do 2 here. Middle grade will take me longer. I could probably knock out a middle grade book in, once every quarter. Again, I can be consistent. The picture books is probably going to be once a quarter as well, because I have to rely on the illustrator, and that the illustrators that I've been using tend to take a little bit longer, and going back and forth. So, maybe realistically, I can do that quarterly. And then young adult novels, I could probably do twice a year. So there we go. So we got that done. All right. Next is going to be our average BSR. So you're just going to go to Amazon and just look up the particular niche or the particular genre, and you're going to see what the average BSR is of the books on the first 2 pages. So, if it's less than 20,000 to 50,000, it's going to be a 1. If it's 51,000 to 100,000, it's going to be a 2. 10,000 to 19,000, it's going to be a 3. And then 101,000 or more, it's going to be a 4. Because if it's 101,000 or more, it means it's probably not selling, maybe 1 or 2 a week. We want to get a little bit more frequency in sales that way. I did put the 10,000 to 19,000 as a 3 punch, because that's going to be a lot more competitive. It's going to be hard. The top sellers in there are selling so much that you're probably going to have to run ads in order to really see success in that particular niche. So again, this probably, I'd be more narrowed down. I wouldn't just put puzzle books as a generic. I would, have it broken down into the different niches I am in within puzzle books. But for now, we're just going to say puzzle books are probably a 1. The picture books, they're definitely more competitive. So that would probably be a 3. Middle grade would probably be a 2. Young adult novels, again, it would be based on the niche, but for now we're just going to put, we'll put 2. This is going to be super competitive. We'll say 1, and then we'll do 4 and 4. Okay. All right. So then we got that. Next, we're going to list the competition. Okay. And the competition, literally when you do a search for your niche or your genre, and you're going to look at on the Amazon page, the number on the top left-hand side, it'll say, 1 through 16 of 1,000 or 60,000 or whatever. So you're literally just going to list what that number is. So again, I'm just going to throw some numbers out here. I've got generic things listed in my niche and genre. Obviously, I'm, for picture books, I'm not going to just do generic picture books. I'm going to look up, picture books about, picture books for girls, or picture books for girls in this age range, or, whatever my book might be about, picture books about sadness, whatever. And again, that, what that particular niche is. So I'll get a more realistic competition score than something as high as 60,000. But again, I'm just going to put some numbers in here for now. So the next column, I'm literally just going to rank those based on the lowest, a 1 being the lowest, and then going up to 7. So it'll be 1, 2, and 7. All right. And then we're going to do a very similar thing when it comes to reviews. We're going to look at the first 2 pages, and we're going to see how many reviews on average the books that are selling, the ones with a good BSR, how many average reviews they have. So the lower the number of reviews, the better your chances of getting sales. Okay. So if your competition only has on average 50 reviews, well, then you got a much better chance of being successful in that and competing with that than if on average, the books that are selling are, have an average of 1,000 reviews. It's going to be a lot harder for your book to stand out when you've got books that have been on Amazon for so long that they've gotten that many reviews. It's really hard for someone to pick your book over something that's got 1,000 reviews. And so again, we're just going to go in here and put the average. So these are the numbers I came up with. Again, I pulled these numbers out of the ether, but normally what you would do is you would go through on Amazon and find the average number of reviews on the first 2 pages for your particular niche or genre. And then the last thing you're going to do is you're going to rank those. Again, just like you did with the competition, the lower the number, you're going to give it a 1, and all the way up to the highest number. So we'll just do it like this. There we go. And then the last thing I do is I just copy down this formula, and the niche or genre that has the lowest score, in this case, it's tied at 13 for cats and puzzle books. But anyway, the lower the number, the better my chances of getting success in that particular niche. Because what it's doing is it's taking the key features that better your chances of success, like how interested are you in it? How consistent can you be? How frequently can you create something in that niche or genre? Because the more frequently you can create good quality content, then the better your chances of the Amazon algorithm liking you and seeing that you're consistently putting something out. You're putting something out on a somewhat regular basis, and the fact that you're both Amazon as well as your readers or consumers will see that and start getting used to whatever your publishing pattern is. So if you're doing it weekly, monthly, quarterly, whatever, they get used to that. And you'll see people start following you on Amazon, and then they'll start getting alerted every time you put out a new book. So again, things like your interest, how consistent you can be, your frequency, and then it goes down to the actual competition and how frequently people are buying books in that particular niche. So that's what the competition and the average BSR, that's looking at that particular niche and saying, okay, is it the two things we're looking for is not very competitive, and then the BSR tells us that there's people actually buying it. So a hungry audience and low competition, and both of those would be lower numbers. And then of course the average reviews telling us what our chances of success in there, because having our book, if we just launch it, competing with books that have a lot of reviews is going to be harder than if it has fewer reviews on average. So again, just these key elements, and again, you can always add more. If you think there are other key elements that you think for your niche or your genre are something that would help you decide whether or not you should create that book over one of the other ones that you're thinking of. But this is what I use, and it really helps give me, I'm a very data driven person, so it really helps me give a very simple number. The closer to one, the better my chances of success in it. That's what I want to focus on. So if I were doing what's listed here, and again, these are just examples, but I would either do a cat book or a puzzle book, or maybe even a cat puzzle book if I'm, that's one of the niches that I'm in, which it's not. But again, so that tells me that those are the ones that I have the best chances in, probably because, they're higher in my interest, my number one interest and my number three, and both of them I can do either monthly or weekly. This one I said I can do weekly, so I can do it more consistently, but the competition is higher as well as the average number of reviews. And so that's why it made it, equal to, something like cats, which in this case, only averages 10 reviews, but I can't do it as frequently. So again, it's taking all of these elements that would seemingly be unrelated, like, my interest and how consistent I can do it and how frequently I can do it, compared to, how many average, reviews there are, taking all these things that are seemingly unrelated and putting them together in a very simple Excel spreadsheet. And all of those together gives you a very simple score that you can use to really, have an idea behind what your best chances of success are and what you should focus on. So again, maybe if I was going to focus on two things, it would be, these two. So again, it tells me that the one I should focus on the least, ironically, is picture books. And just because of how competitive it is and all the other elements that are in here. So I hope this helps. And again, this is something that is very easy to do, very easy to put together. And it really, it takes the emotion out of it. I don't have to worry, oh, but I love writing in this, great. But am I going to see success in it? What are my chances? And so by doing it numerically, by ranking and then putting numbers to it, it takes that emotion out of it, and it allows me to make a good data-driven business decision for my business. Well, there you go. That's a super simple method that I use to decide which genre or niches that I'm going to focus in on. Now, you may say that there are things that I left off, maybe there are things that you think are super important. Let me know down in the comments. This is just what I use. Again, you can take this and tweak it however you want, but these are the metrics that I found help me best decide where I should spend my time and focus. Now, that doesn't mean that later on I can't go back and work on one of those other niches or genres, but when I'm first starting out and I'm focusing on one particular niche to help better my chances of seeing self-publishing success, this is the method that I use. Now, if you haven't already, please consider subscribing to the channel and click that bell notification so you get alerted every time I put out new videos, just like this one. And don't let the learning stop here. Check out this video right here. It's one of my favorites. But if you've already seen that one, or maybe it doesn't interest you, YouTube says that this video right here has got your name written all over it. I'll catch you inside one of those videos, and remember to write right.